At an estimated cost of up to $1 billion, Victoria's latest lockdown is a hammer blow to business.
We're coming off a year where we've been pretty much closed, and 3 or 4 months where we've been 50%.
Matt Mullins operates 9 major pubs across Melbourne. Things were tough even before the latest setback.
We spent everything last year to survive. We are just alive here.
For the estimated 500,000 casual workers suddenly without shifts and income, no news is bad news. And in a post-JobKeeper world, lockdowns hurt a whole lot more.
Only a few weeks ago, we saw a 3-day lockdown in Perth and the Peel region in Western Australia, costing hundreds of millions of dollars to business.
The Victorian government is working on a business support package, expected to resemble the one rolled out after February's lockdown. One-off payments of $2,000 for affected small businesses, a further $3,000 for hospitality, and up to $4,500 for the worst affected accommodation premises.
And I'll have more to say in coming days. Wage subsidies, these are Commonwealth matters, so we are discussing between governments, between treasurers, about what support the Commonwealth can provide.
But the lack of encouragement from Canberra is concerning.
Will Victorian businesses have access to JobKeeper or any form of federal government help?
Well, at this stage, Victoria is the responsible body. They have said that they will be providing additional support.
So no help from you?
So we take them at their word. I think we've all up provided extraordinary support so far.
Wherever you are in Australia, until the vaccine rollout makes real headway, lockdowns will remain a fact of life. Without the right support, the financial pain will too.
Our workers are currently at home trying to work out how to pay their rent and put food on their kids' tables so that the rest of this country can stay safe and stay at work. And that's fine. We'll do it again and again and again if we're asked to. But you have to take care of us.
Well, Paul Guerra is Chief Executive of the Victorian Chamber of Commerce, and he joins us now. So, Paul, tell us, what's the mood like within the business community right now?
It's pretty sombre across the state today. Businesses have been dealing with cancellation of events. Some businesses closing for the next 7 days. And others wondering where their next paycheck is going to come through. It's impacted businesses in terms of what revenue are they going to be able to make over the next 7 days. And of course, the workers, which we know there's a shortage everywhere, where are they going to get their next dollar from as well? So, it was tough times.
Beyond that sense of people being sombre, is there a degree of anger, annoyance, frustration around what's led to this? And I'm interested to know, given that the politicians are playing blame games, where the business community is sort of directing responsibility here.
Yeah, Hamish, all of those emotions you talk about have come through in the phone calls that I've received today. Look, the big question from business community across the state is, why are we back here again? The results today were encouraging. Only 4 cases, so hopefully it's only going to be the 7 days. But business doesn't care whether it's state or federal government. They just want support right now.
Well, we've heard that there is a support package on the way. Have you heard anything from the state government about that?
Yeah, we've spoken to both the state government and the federal government today about the need for support. The federal government's been fabulous with just under $50 billion towards JobKeeper to Victoria alone. The state government here is put in just under $10 billion. Now is not the time to stop supporting Victorian business.
Well, there is more coming from the state government. Do you think that the federal government needs to do more as well, some sort of new JobKeeper style package?
Look, from business side, we don't care where the support comes from, but it needs to be really clear. And we need support for workers, because if they don't have income coming in, they'll choose other options. And there's plenty of options up north, as we know. If that occurs, then Victoria's ability to bounce back after this is going to be highly compromised. So, this needs, we're hoping to see both state and federal governments come together to support Victorian businesses and workers once again.
Paul, look, as you said, good numbers today, so maybe we'll manage to make this just a 7-day lockdown. However, as we go into winter, do you think the fear of future lockdowns might be having an effect on businesses?
It's a great question, Claire, and I think we all know that the reality of this virus is it's completely unpredictable, and that's why we'd like to see a purpose-built quarantine facility like the one at Howard Springs up and running. Let's stop talking about it. Trying to contain a highly contagious virus in a hotel environment doesn't work. The second part is, let's get this vaccination program up and rocking. We've seen the last few days, people are coming out in droves to get vaccinated. That will help us keep it at bay. And the last thing, of course, is let's get the QR code check-in system working so that we can continue to have confidence in the contact tracing system. Those three things will mean that any threat of future lockdowns should diminish and diminish quickly.
Paul, really appreciate you talking to us this evening. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Lisa.
And
I can understand that Paul didn't want to get into all the details, around federal state funding, but let's be realistic about this. If this lockdown, and we hope it doesn't, if it goes longer than the 7 days, federal money is what counts here. They control the purse strings. They have more money at their disposal. They've shown that they're willing to spend it writ large. And frankly, they are responsible for this. The problems in hotel quarantine, the issues that have been faced with the vaccine rollout, they are federal failures, so federal money needs to come if this lockdown persists, killing off business.
But why then, in this case, do we have to have federal money to bail the state out when there's been lockdowns in WA? There was one in New South Wales over summer. I know there was some assistance there.
Well, they've always been shorter. I mean, this one, I don't think the federal money needs to flow if it is only the week. But I tell you what, if it drags on, state economies can't really offer the kind of support that a federal government can, just with vertical fiscal imbalance, really. So they need the feds to step up. And the Treasurer's from Victoria. He was pretty critical of all the things that Dan Andrews and the government, according to Josh Frydenberg, did wrong that first time round. This time, he should be self-reflecting on the problems of the federal government and then, pony up with the cash.
And they also need to look proactive leading into a federal election, not that far away. They're going to need these brownie points with Victorians because Victorians are angry.
I'm going to annoy you both by saying this, but wouldn't we be better spending that money on actually getting this vaccine rollout happening properly rather than looking at kind of bailouts because of lockdowns? What about actually getting the vaccine rollout happening, as Paul said, rocking right across the country?
Yeah, but Hamish, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. The federal government should be able to do both.
And is it money that's going to fix that problem?
But are we doing both at the same time?
I mean, they just need to be competent on the issue, on both issues. On hotel quarantine, we know that that's had problems. They need to sort out another Howard Springs, many more Howard Springs around the country, and get the messaging right on the vaccine. We're 2% at the moment.
And they're not even the same. They're not even the same ministers. So, Josh Frydenberg helped with the economy. You're saying it's all about jobs and economic recovery, but for God's sakes, Greg Hunt and others get on with the vaccine.
Yeah.
With so much content online, it's sometimes hard to keep up with it all. And let's face it, who has the time? The Project YouTube has you covered with the stories that matter. Hit subscribe for a daily list of the news that you need to know.